Hello, Ben.
Hey guys,
Yes.
Yeah,
Hi.
how are you?
fine.
How are you?
Yes, very well, thank you.
So, did you listen to Yana Tori's presentation? How it made you feel about
I
it?
only caught the end there really. So what I'd say there on the sort of last bit she said, like obviously I'm first and foremost a copywriter, so I'm really good at writing and adjusting based on sort of the results I'm getting. But when it comes to um, a lot of issues with deliverability are solved by good copywriting, but there's obviously sort of things outside of my control, which people like that are going to be sort of it's a lot more their kind of realm. So there's things that are completely out of my control that people like her are going to be really, really good at, and that's just not my field really.
So you say that if technically everything is done all right, then you can make magic things content-wise. You can improve open rates 2 to 3 times like this.
Correct.
Perfect. Let's
Let's
hear.
hear.
Right. I'll just share my screen. Can everyone see that?
Uh, yes, we see it.
Excellent.
So it
Right.
is.
So this is my sales email writing process. It's been proven to double click rates on e-commerce brands campaigns. So obviously this is right. So today's topic basically is going to be me explaining and breaking down my exact process for writing what's called a DIC sales email. They've been shown to get huge click rates compared to what most e-commerce brands are used to. So these are what's known as interest emails. They basically gain the initial interest of your readers, and from there you can kind of gather the data for who's visiting your sales page, and then you can use that to send sort of more urgent emails like tailored for scarcity and things along those lines. So who am I? I'm Ben Milsom. I'm a freelance copywriter based in the UK. I work with several online, international, and local brands, and also several LinkedIn influencers as well. There's some of the clients I've worked with. I'm going to be rushing through this as well because I'm trying to cover a lot. I mean, it's a small subject, the whole interest email thing, but there's really a lot that goes into it. So I'll be rushing through certain bits of it that aren't as important. So yeah, this style of email copies increase click rates by as much as double for certain companies. And on my own list, I've been able to get click rates as high as 50%. Obviously, click rates are relative. Someone's 50% might be not as good as someone else's 2%. But the important thing to remember is if you can, for example, take a click rate that's 1%, and that client is really struggling to go above that, and you turn that into a 2% click rate, then you've done really well. So yeah, right. So all the lessons that really are in this presentation, they come from Carl Milligan's Copy Squad Lite Discord community. So I don't get paid for plugging this, but it's just a disclaimer that everything you're about to learn has been learned from this guy. Um, so yeah, inside the community, we use the techniques I'm about to reveal. They're taught in even more detail on the YouTube channel, and I'm just basically giving an overall run of how I use those processes in my sort of process of how to write these interest emails. So what is a DIC email? So D is disrupt, intrigue, and then click. So disrupt. So the first few lines of an email should always aim to disrupt. Uh, your readers are in a scrolling or otherwise busy state of mind, so it's your job as an email marketer to disrupt their current thought pattern. And you can do this with excitement, anger, curiosity, opportunity or humor. So a lot of people, they kind of start their emails with like a boring statement of fact, and that's like the biggest mistake that anyone makes. They just don't disrupt. So when I comment on people's work inside the Discord community, that's the main problem I'm seeing is just no disrupt. So you need to disrupt, and I'm going to be going over this. I'm actually going to be going over an email at the end, which is going to go into this in a lot more detail. So yeah, you just got to honor the click. So in other words, what I mean by that is just don't lie. Don't use clickbait because it's really annoying. You're going to lose readers. So after you've disrupted, you've got intrigue. So your next few lines need to intrigue the reader, so it can build a sense of hope through a unique opportunity that promises to solve a problem in a way that they've not seen before. But never reveal your product. So that's the thing with these interest emails, is you're not actually revealing your product. You're just kind of presenting an opportunity as almost like a friend in their email inbox. So it's not like, check out this hand cream, buy it now. It's, oh, there's a really good way to smooth your skin or whatever it is. There's a way. Like, it's nothing to do with me. It's not my product. It's just this opportunity that's out there, and I'm showing you this. That's kind of the vibe, like the attitude. So yeah, with intrigue, the goal is to excite your reader about an opportunity and get them curious. And revealing your product kills that intrigue. So it's important not to reveal it, and your only goal is to get the click, nothing else. So that's important to remember. So as long as you don't use clickbait, like, that's all that matters. Just get the click. So yeah, as I say, click is number 3. You can literally just ask for the click here now. Use urgency, use FOMO, fear of missing out. Tell them why they've got to click now, and remind them of the benefits, like before the click. So, you know, each one of these sections can be like 3-4 lines. You disrupt three lines, 4 lines, intrigue, same, click, 3 lines. So a lot of people think copywriting is creative. Copywriting is not creative. It's actually a research endeavor. So here's my process. I'm absolutely flying through this because the most important part is at the end, where I go over the email. So my process, you've got to know your customer. Everyone should know this who's in sales. You should familiarize yourself with your customers' pain points, particularly where they intersect with your product. So if your product solves your customers' worst pain points, you've got to write them down. So where do you look? This is very, very basic stuff. So search online forums like Reddit, where people are looking for answers to their questions. Because if you ask the internet, you ask Google, people will literally give you their pain points. And copywriting really is just taking what people are asking, and as long as your product solves that, you just give it to them, and that's it. You literally just, you're writing what they've already told you. You're kind of writing that back to them. So yeah, they're giving their pain points. There's a couple of forums there on like skincare and stuff like that. Alternatively, use Google to search something like worst things about applying makeup or worst things about skincare. And you can find things from like doctors' studies, and, you know, just all sorts of things. There's all sorts of things out there on Google. Just don't be afraid of research. Basically, it's entirely a research endeavor. It's all about kind of doing your research and then categorizing the most compelling parts of your research to create a sales argument. And it's much easier to do in emails than it is to do, for example, in a sales page. So just listen to what people are telling you, the customers. So they give away endless ammo, as I've written there. 90% of copywriting is research. Let your customers tell you what they want. It's actually quite easy in that way. It just requires lots and lots of reps. So yeah, the second part of that is researching your product. It's easy. Just familiarize yourself with the sales page, the language used in terms of the voice, etc., and the product benefits. You don't need to know the product features. Product features, you just don't need to know them as a copywriter. You need to know the benefits that they provide. Right, so a lot of people might not have heard of this. This is a copy squad term. Mine threads from the sales page. Everything you need to know is actually on the sales page itself, most likely. You just need to steal the lines that answer 3 specific questions. There's plenty of things you can sort of mine from outside the sales page, but if the sales page does have the info you need, it's probably better you just stick to that, as kind of it gives you the best chance of remaining congruent with the sales page. So the 3 questions you've got to answer: 1, what's in it for me? This is really, really important. So what does your product do for the reader? Like if you can't communicate what does this do for me, and you need to communicate it pretty quickly in the start of an email as well. If you can't communicate that, your email is just going to go in the bin. So number 2 is, how does it work? How does your product solve the problem? What's unique about it? Why is it different? And how is this possible? So this kind of satisfies logical objections. How do I know it works? That kind of thing. Basically statements that give credibility to your claims. They don't necessarily have to be proof, but you should be able to explain how this is possible. You need to be able to kind of satisfy that logical objection. Right, so we're going to go over to my Google Doc. This is just a quick email I wrote. This is not the one we're going to be going over in detail, as it's kind of quick. It's basically just to show how I threw together the threads from the sales page. So I chose this product, and basically any line that answers one of these questions, you literally just copy and paste it into a doc. So so here you've got your threads. What's in it for me? You've got, how does it work? How is this possible? Right, so it's like technical explanations, proof, or credibility. And it told me what the product did. It sort of tightened the skin in 5 minutes once a week. Results were quick. It reduced wrinkles, smoothed the skin, and lifts and tightens the skin. It told me exactly how it worked. I mean, I've only written a couple of things here because this was sort of really, really quick. But it's a handheld device rubbed over the face. It stimulates collagen production. There's more on that on the page. You should really take it all. You won't be using it all. Obviously, you've got the type of technology they use. You know, that's a feature, so I wouldn't take that. A double safety mechanism. You don't need to know stuff like that. Treatment areas, that's a what's in it for me. You've got these. You can use these kind of before and afters in your email. Pictures do work well, so it's not always plain text. And then you got these kind of things as well, which sort of it satisfies that how is it possible. So from that, I've just literally chucked this together. Subject line: strange device reverses age in 5 minutes. Obviously, it doesn't reverse age, so any like extreme claims like this, I like to put in inverted commas. I like to ask a question as well. It kind of leaves your subject line on a cliffhanger. That's your disrupt, because it's like it's almost like a BS claim, what we call a BS claim, something that people are going to look at and think that's not true. A lot of people think that's a bad thing. It's actually quite a good thing. It's what kind of keeps your reader latched on. They're almost reading to prove you wrong. They want to think you're right, but they're almost read on to prove you're wrong. So that BS claim's quite good. So what if you could shave years off your appearance without skin creams or serums? It's just a short 5-minute treatment. Well, now you can using this strange new device. There's a click right there as well. I like to put these hyperlinks throughout the email. Another thing to note as well is you can use these types of emails. They work well plain text or in your more kind of pretty designed emails as well. I've had really good results with both, so it doesn't really matter what you do. So now the intrigue section starts. You can start to look younger today, getting huge results from the first treatment. You got your text by magazine, which I took from the page, while the Independent says this is your go-to. So this is kind of how it's possible. 94% of users said this. Powerful device does this, how it works. Clinical, non-invasive. So if you want to de-age in 5 minutes, which is just reiterating your benefit, click here to discover the device that makes it possible. And then you've got PS, you've got like a bit of urgency there, you know. Many skincare products could irritate your skin and even speed up aging. Just like click here now for a safe alternative. So I'm not going to dwell on that too long, because this email is where I'm really going to get into it. But we'll go back to the presentation for now. So this that email was kind of dry in terms of the 4 big selling emotions. So the 4 big selling emotions are really what's going to allow your copy to pop, to really get people excited, because emotional excitement is where you're going to make the sale. If you can get your reader excited emotionally, that's how you're going to sell to them. So yeah, 4 emotional triggers excite your readers to take action. That's what you want, whether it's to click to read an article, watch a video, or take the leap and actually buy your product. You need them excited. There's no way around it. That's going to be a lot easier with certain products. And really and truly, you can only sell a product that people want. But yeah, it's going to be done with the 4 big selling emotions. So they are NESB. Number 1 is new, easy, safe, and big. So new, each of these emotions actually has an alter ego. New's alter ego is only, as in only found here. So the reason I'd say new is probably the most important selling emotion. So I've started on that. The reader has to believe this is something new. If you can't communicate your opportunities new, your readers are going to ignore your message, right? Because basically you're bombarded with sales messages your entire life, whether you're watching TV, whether you're just walking down the street, you're in your emails, you're on Facebook, doesn't matter where, you're having just marketing messages chucked at you non-stop. Your lizard brain has kind of been trained to ignore anything that's not new, because I mean, your memory is just not built to handle it for a start. And if it's not going to help you, you're just going to chuck it away, right? So if this is something new, it's going to kind of inspire that emotion of hope, like the hope that this is going to work where nothing else has before. So the alter ego of new is only, as in only found here. And the next one's easy, and the alter ego is anybody. So everyone knows this, really. This should go without saying. People are lazy. They want the path of least resistance. If an opportunity is easy, your call to action is going to be much lower investment, and therefore your reader's much more likely to click. I don't feel like I really need to explain that one anymore. It's quite simple. I want anybody as sort of like anybody can do this, so it's easy. Safe is predictable. It's kind of a logical justifier as well, but it's also you know, people don't want to lose money. They don't want to waste time, and they want to know for sure that this is going to work. They don't want to waste money and time on an opportunity that's not going to work. So they want to know the opportunity is safe. And the alter ego there is predictable. It's like, this has worked before. Here's the proof that it's worked before. Here's other people using it. It's worked for them. That's safe. That's predictable. So big is fast. So if your opportunity isn't big, why would people want it? You need to excite people with some kind of measurable change in their life, preferably a big change. So fast is the alter ego there. So 6-pack in a year, not that exciting. 6-pack in 2 weeks, now you're starting to excite me. So here's how to imbue your copy with NESB. Show, don't tell. So I always write inside the Discord channel, I write on people's work, show me, don't tell me. People will often write, this opportunity is really new, or this opportunity is really big, or this is really amazing. They'll just use some sort of synonym for these words. And rather than telling me that the opportunity is new, you need to show me. You know, tell me that only a small, like, for example, if it's an investment opportunity, tell me that this comes out of a small factory, no one knows about it. There's sort of like a backdoor investment you can use to get in on a company that's not gone public, right? That communicates that the opportunity is new. You don't say this is an opportunity that's new, or no one can get in on this. Just like tell them why, and then it's going to be much more exciting. So yeah, we have a new and easy 3 push-up method that will increase your bench press. Bit dry. It's not very exciting. However, here you've got new Mike Tyson's 3 push-up system for increasing your bench press by 200%. Much more exciting. There's much more communication, sub-communication and Nesby in that subject line. So we have used the word new there, but it's immediately followed by Mike Tyson, right? This is like an authority figure. He's already big. People want to be, if people want to be muscular, they kind of want some source of credibility that this thing works. So it not only is it big, but it communicates safe as it's a credible source of muscle gains. So a lot's going on here. You're communicating a lot. 3 push-up system. So why is that Nesby? 3 push-ups is easy. System is easy. So words like system, push button solution, they communicate easy. Don't just say easy way, because that's kind of boring. So increasing your bench press by 200, that should be obvious. It's a big result. And another thing that a lot of copywriters use, 200% is an ultra specific sort of measure of the result. So that it makes it big, and it communicates safe as well, because we're actually providing something to latch onto there with the 200%. So yes, sub-communicate Nesby wherever possible. Don't just use Nesby buzzwords, what I call buzzwords. Basically any synonyms for new, easy, safe, and big, or any of their alter egos. So back to my docs. This is where we're going to go through my email in more detail. This is actually an email I took from my email inbox. So I've essentially taken an email which I believe does not disrupt Intrigue Click very well at all, and then I've rewritten it. So already can see by the format they're completely different. So I'm going to try and fly through this because there's a lot to get through. So the email is about CBD. I'm just going to go through it, and I'm going to read my comments line by line. So the subject line is navigate the CBD minefield. It's somewhat useful to the reader, but not at all disruptive or exciting. So it's not very disruptive. It doesn't really elicit that much emotion in me. So I don't like the subject line too much. So next line, CBD products have exploded in popularity with athletes since 2018, when CBD was removed from the World Anti-Doping Agency banned substances list. So here is a big sin to me. I put, where's the disrupt? It's what every rookie copywriter does when writing first lines. It's just a boring statement of fact. There's no disrupt here, right? So anything that's written here, you either already know, and if you don't, you don't really care anyway. There's no what's in it for me here. So a disrupt is something, as I said before, that evokes some kind of emotion, anger, curiosity, outrage, excitement. You can even make someone angry. It's okay as long as the email has an ultimate payoff, right? Whether it's an article that they're going to enjoy reading, it's going to educate them, or a product that's going to help them in their life. So since then, athletes have been able to benefit from the anti-inflammatory pain management and anxiety alleviating qualities of CBD. Really and truly, it's the same comment. You're just building on this pointless story. So any readers you didn't lose from the first line, you've lost here. Even now, those CBD products can be a bit of a minefield, so it's important you know what you're looking at. So this might actually have a place in the email, right? It's a limiting problem, and it sort of hints at what's in it for me here. So, but I've put, for a limiting problem to cause emotion, though, it needs to be an obstacle for something that your reader wants to get. So far, there's no exciting prospect of a big change in the reader's life to the point where this is causing any emotion. So really and truly, when you're writing copy, you need to write it as a copywriter, but read it back as if you're a reader and ask yourself, like, if I received this in my email inbox, would I be excited to click? Would this disrupt me? Would this intrigue me? Would it actually sort of take me away from my scrolling mindset and make me read this? If the answer is no, it needs redoing. So in this recovery club, yeah, another thing I wrote here is break this text up. Like, people don't want to read long lines. In this recovery club, we're going to answer the 3 questions every athlete needs to ask before choosing their next CBD product. So yeah, the 3 questions, this is what's called a mechanism, which is your way. It's going to be, how you solve the problem. You need to have a mechanism in your email. There's a few things that I've not really touched on in great detail, but I'll try and sort of fill that in as we go through this. So what type of CBD product do I need? Right, so this is the main problem here. You know, I said don't reveal the product before. I know this is kind of geared towards being a value email, which would be fine if the email gives value, but you'll see in a minute the email doesn't really give value. It kind of hints at value. So I put you're giving away the questions. This is no good. So you've either got to intrigue by teasing why the questions are so powerful or little known and how they're going to help you in your life, how they're going to help you achieve this what's in it for me, or write an email that provides value, right? And then you're just using that value email as an email to nurture your list. And then you can maybe have a link at the end or not. It's up to you. It could just be an email purely to nurture your list. But if the goal is to get the click, that's your only goal. So this is why I don't like the email. So ingestibles versus topicals. Deciding between the two different types of CBD product comes down to what you need. It's just, you know, it elaborates on this question a bit. So yeah, here's the issue here. You're telling them the question without really giving them the answer, right? So it's a dreadfully unintriguing kind of no man's land between a DIC interest email and a value email. You're not really getting either. It's not an interest email. It's not a value email. You know, you've kind of got to choose one. And the reason you have is, the reason you have is for what I mentioned earlier. You're either providing value or you're getting them to click. So you're not intriguing them enough to want to find out an answer, nor are you giving them any actual value in this email. So the next question, what amount of CBD do I need? See last comment, same exact thing. Then they do the same thing here. And then what are the other ingredients mixed in with the CBD? See last comment as well. And I put also, if this is supposed to be an interest email, why are there multiple threads? I'll touch on this briefly. You should be writing to one person in your emails. Like if you're writing to a whole list, you either need to segment or you need to address one problem at a time. Writing to multiple people or like trying to address separate problems in an email, this is just a big conversion killer. It's like a massive conversion killer. I realized I didn't go over this much in the presentation, but it is really very, very important. Like single threaded emails are, it's a huge reason for high conversions. So that's important to know. So next part of the email, yeah, they just do this question again. There was a spelling mistake here, and this was in an email I received in my inbox. So that's an instant credibility killer. Needless to say, you've got to spell check your emails. So we answer all these questions and more in the latest edition of I've left the company name blank, Recovery Club. Read the full article here. So there's your call to action. You fully revealed what the questions are, so anyone who doesn't want to know the answers won't click. So arguably, anyone who wants to know the answer to any of the questions can probably do their own research, right? Anyone else has to be intrigued enough to click. So if the goal of the email is to get the click, why the fluff? You know, choose one, value or interest or urgency, you know. There's no actual value. You just want them to read your newsletter. So just intrigue them to do that, nothing else. That's it. It really is that simple. So I'm going to show you how I did it instead and tell you why. Again, it's not, I only used the email above as my research, and I kind of threw this together. So this is mainly to illustrate disrupt, intrigue, click as an email style, and how you can kind of use Nesby as well to imbue your copy with some more power. So subject line, warning, read this if you use CBD. So already that's a disruptive subject line. People are going to be thinking, why is it harmful? Like, why is there a warning? You know, why do I need to read this if I use CBD? Right? It might even grab the attention of people who don't take CBD or people who are planning to maybe use CBD. So CBD can be a fantastic remedy for an athlete. However, so yeah, I've been a bit vague here. but the main issues I had was with the structure of the email. So I drew it up quite quickly. Ideally, you would be much more specific here. As I said before, target one person, target one person's problems. And yeah, write your email based on that. So I don't really know their target audience, but you'd be much better off drawing up 3 separate emails and segmenting them by anti-inflammation, pain relief, and anxiety based on the demographic of the audience. Or you can choose one benefit that applies to the entire demographic if possible and run with that. But either way, you've got a right to one person. So CBD can be a fantastic remedy for an athlete. However, right, this was in danger of being exactly the same as the first one, right? Given a boring statement of fact. But by writing however, I've kind of left it on a cliffhanger. So now this becomes a disrupt. It's like, this could be really good. However, it's like, oh, is it bad? Like, is there something that I'm missing here, right? I use a cliffhanger to evoke curiosity, which is one of the ways you can disrupt with curiosity. So yeah, the curiosity is over something that could be potentially threatening. This is what makes it a disrupt. So not knowing the nuances of CBD can be the difference between a perfect remedy and a complete waste of your money. So yeah, this just flows into this sentence. And there's your problem. There's your threat. Here's your limiting problem. The problem is the complex world of CBD can be impossible to navigate. So this is why you can't kind of solve that issue. So whether you're looking to treat pain, anxiety, or inflammation, right, yeah, so I generally don't like this, but in the interest of chucking together a quick DIC email, I kind of used all of these in one. But like I said before, and I wrote it again, I put all the possible benefits of CBD just to tie it to the next line, basically. But and it's not to say this wouldn't work at all. I would just much rather segment by demographic or pick a single thread for a much higher engagement rate. Like the engagement rates are going to be night and day if you write single threaded emails. Like, I cannot stress that enough. So another thing to do, if all of these apply to all of the audiences, to send out all 3 as separate angles in separate emails. Yeah, that's another thing you can do as well. So you can now find your exact solution to your problem by asking 3 simple questions. So yeah, that's vague. Be specific with your problem. The only reason I had to write this way was because I had sort of 3 different problems to address. You find the solution to your problem by asking 3 simple questions. Right, there's your mechanism. There's 3 simple questions. It's easy, right? You don't need to be a medical researcher or CBD expert to understand these questions. It's a quick not statement to demonstrate how easy this process is going to be. So a not statement is something like, you don't need to be a genius. You don't need to be an accredited investor. You don't need to be, you know, a Brad Pitt lookalike. So these not statements essentially communicate how easy an opportunity is going to be. So you don't have to be this, because the CBD experts have done the hard work already, which is easy, right? It demonstrates how the mechanism is possible. Again, very simple. Can be edited later, but the goal is to get the click without lying or being incongruent with where the click leads. So the CBD experts have done the work already, given us exclusive access to their findings. So this demonstrates new, as in only found here. You can only get the insider information here. So I don't know how true it is, but I've literally just worked the email above as my only research. But that's a powerful line in demonstrating new or only, right? They've done the hard work, given us exclusive access to their findings, and made finding the right CBD product easy, even for a CBD novice, right? Again, like, big result for anybody. This is easy and it works for anybody. The major problem I have with this email is it's not specific about the problem. It's not specific about the solution, but that's all you need to make this quite a powerful email. So best of all, literally just a transition sentence there. You're sometimes going to need this just to help the flow. We're revealing these 3 questions in today's edition of this company's recovery club. So revealing, new only, again, recovery club. So how do I get started? You've got to tell them how to get started. And because this is a low investment click, I've told them exactly how they're going to learn these questions. So now we have a what's in it for me, we have a how is this possible, we have a how does it work, and we have a how can I get started. So this is something I like to do. You kind of just reiterate the benefit, or you can use urgency, as I said before, or you can use scarcity, whatever's going to work better for your product or, for your promotion or offer. So if you want to know the only 3 questions you're ever going to need, so that's new and only. And it's just, as I said, it's a pre-call to action transition line. Then click here to see how to find the CBD that's right for you. Again, I hate that as a benefit. It's just not specific. But if that was a specific benefit, it's perfect. So yeah, it's a benefit-based call to action. Should be more specific to the audience, but I don't know enough. Again, segmentation or better customer research required. You should know the demographic of your list, and you should be able to segment based on that. So for that email, that's pretty much it. And I do believe, yeah, that's it. So any questions are welcome. I don't know how long I took there, but yeah.
Yep.
Thank you, Ben. Wow, really interesting. There are a lot of questions.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
We
7.
have time, but yeah, first, I think I have a question regarding those AI helpers that have recently surfaced. Do you see some kind of a threat from like ChatGPT or the likes? Are they going to adapt those same ways that you are doing and helping people
No.
like really?
So this is a really good question. We talk about this a lot inside the Discord community, and what AI is, at least at the moment, it's a really useful tool to people who understand these sort of like sub communications and Nesby and things like that. So when a lot of the time, if you ask Chat GPT to write an interest email that promotes a certain product, it will try and communicate these emotions, but it's painfully obvious, and I think we're a long way away from that actually being a threat to copywriters, if that makes sense. There was a really, it skips my mind now, but there was a really interesting video that Kyle did with a guy, and I forget his name. It's just like skipping my mind, but he's involved in the creation of some of these AI services, and he literally explains why this isn't a threat now. But we've actually broken down AI emails inside the Discord server, and they're impressive in what they can do, but what they are now and what they will be for the foreseeable future, as we see it, is going to be basically a tool to help people who know how to take research and categorize that. It's basically a tool to just make your lines sharper and stuff like that, but it's certainly no threat as it stands right now, if that makes sense.
Okay, okay.
And, and then goes actually my question, what we talked about that. But let's say, or is it good idea to use, or are you using, let's say, so-called like formulas? You are like, or prompt that.
Like subject line or content generators, some ESPs have on their website. Here, hi, here is a tool you can use to generate the perfect sales email.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
here you goes your problem, then it's da da da, then there goes that, then there's that. But you have like script how to use. In this email case, I use this one. In this case, I will this one, or it's has to be like a every time unique approach.
So I mean, DIC is a formula, but it's really going to be tailored around your research. So your research is going to tell you what you can write. I mean, we've never seen an AI email that takes a formula per se and turns it into a very successful kind of sales email. So I don't think there's any worry there. Is it a unique approach? I mean, it is a formula, it is a process, but what I will say is I've kind of simplified it in the presentation. But what this does take is reps, and it does take a mentor if you want to get good quick. Like, you're not going to be able to take what I've just said there and be able to write fantastic emails every time. There's there's kind of there's a lot more to it that would just take hours and hours to go into. So it really is a repetition game, and ideally you need a mentor. So I mentor people, and I still have people mentoring me. So it's very, very important that you put your reps in, and you're going to see the holes come out pretty quickly in the copy you're writing. So bit of a long answer, yeah, but it is a process, but it's kind of unique in its own way as well. If that kind of makes sense.
Okay, understood. There is a question from the audience. I notice a lot of text in your content. That works better than image, small sentence, and a call to action button? Question mark.
Uh, is this in the chat?
Yeah, it's in the chat. So
Let me-
we also say that if you sell something, you can use images because, well, people buy with their eyes more. But you
Correct.
use a lot of text. Does it work better than using images and a call to action button, maybe with less text?
So really, it's just a testing game. So have you ever heard of Ready, Fire, Aim?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really about getting it out there, testing it, and adjusting. So one thing, I mean, I think I mentioned it in the presentation, but uh, these work really well, whether it's kind of your more pretty kind of designed emails with all your images, or whether it's just plain text. I've got really, really good results with plain text emails. That being said, one way you can use an image is as a disrupt. So, for example, like look at this tiny thing in my hand, for example. You could be holding up like a microchip, for example, and that's going to be a disrupt. It's going to kind of evoke this curiosity. So that's one way that images are really good. Another way that I like to use it is, for example, when I've written for like skincare companies and stuff, you can get like a before and after picture and say, take a look at this picture. These pictures were taken just 1 week apart, right? For example, something like that. So yeah, I'm like, for example, when you're scrolling Facebook, a lot of the time a disrupt is the picture itself. It's not even the text. The text kind of just strengthens that disrupt, but a disrupt's very, very important, no matter what. So it's I don't like to use pictures of products ideally, unless it kind of keeps that product vague. Like you may use a picture of a cream and say this strange cream, for example. It's like a bad example, but that's one way you could do it. So yeah, images are definitely going to be useful, as long as you can use them right, as long as you can use them correctly. What I don't like in particular, it is one way of marketing and it does work, but just pictures of buy this now and just a ton of pictures of products. I just, no, that's not my style at all.
Okay.
Okay.
When you talked about disruption, we have another question from the audience. When you yourself receive emails that have caused disruption, for
Yep.
example, anger, curiosity, excitement,
Yep.
in your feelings, do you still get engaged, or are you more kind of standing outside of the box and seeing through the tricks, not so?
No, I absolutely get engaged. Like, no matter what, as a human being, your emotions are always going to rule your life. It doesn't matter how logical you look at a situation, doesn't matter how clever you are. None of that matters. Emotion will always rule your life. So that's a good question because, for example, when I'm scrolling on Facebook and something really grabs my attention, doesn't matter why it is, I will either screenshot it or write it down, and I'll write why this grabbed my attention. And that way I can kind of swipe these things, these disrupts, and I can use them in the future. I'll go, oh, this got me really angry. I wanted to click to see if this person didn't really believe this in this article, right? Or this got me really curious, or this got me really excited for this reason because I wanted to solve this problem. And I'll just write down these disrupts, and yeah, you can just forever use these disrupts. But it's very, very important. If you can't disrupt someone away from their current thought pattern, if you can disrupt someone when they're busy, then you can disrupt anyone. But it's very important.
All right. Thank you, Ben. It was really interesting. I think, Tanel, our marketing emails need to be fine-tuned a little bit better now.
With more disruption.
Yes.
You've definitely got to disrupt. This is so important.
If you have any questions to Ben, you can contact him in the chat or later on in real life. He can help you with those emails, I'm sure. And thanks.
No problem. Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn. Just contact me on there if you need anything. And yeah, thanks for having me on as well. It's been great.